Hey, I'm Stormy Atlantis. Welcome back to my channel where we are seeking alignment, discovering esoteric knowledge, and unraveling ancient mysteries. Now today we're going to talk about the Great Pyramids and what their purpose was. Pretty much everyone, in my experience, is going to be in one of two camps. Either you've heard all the things I'm about to tell you and you're on the team, or you have heard none of these things and you're going to think I sound crazy in the beginning, but you just stick through to the end and we'll see where we end up. The official story is this. A pharaoh had either a bunch of slaves or a bunch of skilled workers build the pyramids by hand with copper chisels, stones, and no wheels of any kind over the course of about 25 years as a crowning achievement of their civilization and as a burial spot for the pharaoh. That's the official story. Also official is there are roughly 2.3 million stones making up the Great Pyramid. Those stones weigh between 1.5 and 3 tons. Now, in order for them to have built all of those stones in 24 years, they would have to roughly lay one stone every 5 minutes, day and night, for 24 years. So, I mean, even with our technology today, that seems like kind of a lot to lay that many that quickly. That would be a lot of work. Also, they don't actually know how. That's official. They've already ruled out levers and levees, and the primary option that they can come up with is a ramp. Now, the issue is if it's a straight on ramp, it would require more stones to build the ramp than the actual fucking pyramids. Also, we'd probably have evidence of it, right? The other option is, which is popular, is that a ramp was built in a spiral around the pyramids. Problem with that is, again, no proof, and also where the fuck is it? Because apparently they built this giant ramp around the pyramids as they built the pyramids and then dismantled the ramp, but didn't just dismantle it, they also moved it, went through the trouble of dragging it so far away that we had never found it. There's a third theory about a guy who believes there's an internal ramp that was built into the pyramids. However, we've scanned the shit out of it and there's no empty tunnels, so then he believes that maybe they filled it in. That's the other pervasive theory, that they built a ramp inside the pyramid as they were building it. They left all of the corners of the pyramid empty, which seems like a bit of a structural issue, but I'm not a fucking engineer, so what do I know? But they emptied the corner so that they could have an empty spot so they could get air and light and also move the stones through the inside, and then they filled it all back in when they were done. That's the other theory. None of these things are even remotely proven, and as a matter of fact, there's actually no proof for any of them. It's just the best they can come up with based on the technologies that they assume the people who built it had. Additionally, while we're on the subject of things that they had, it's stones and copper tools. So according to them, they actually chiseled the limestone with copper saws that they handmade because they don't really have any real tools. And they did so by using sand as an abrasive. So essentially what they're saying they must have done is they must have used sand and sawed with sand between the saw blades so that it was rough enough to cut through the limestone. And I'm not obviously a scientist, but I just feel like, how long did those saw blades last? How many of them did they make? How well were they made, since they had no other tools to really make them with? And how long does that fucking take? Additionally, they believe that they quarried the quartz on the outside from 1,000 kilometers away by way of beating on them with other stones, making a progress of roughly 5 millimeters an hour. We're talking huge, huge slabs 1,000 kilometers away that they just beat with other rocks until they cut away squares. That's literally what they believe must have been the thing. And then they floated them on rafts down the Nile while it was flooded to get those stones to the pyramid. And then they built the pyramid with the precision that we also can't fathom. It is level today within 2 centimeters accuracy. completely level. The corners are within 11 centimeters. Additionally, it is aligned to perfect north, east, south, and west within 3/60th of a degree's accuracy with no compass. It's also aligned to various constellations on the solstices, and all of this with no wheels and no real tools. That's the official story. Additionally, there are no mummies, there are no sarcophagus, there's actually no hieroglyphics inside the Great Pyramids. It's often assumed that inside the Great Pyramids are like these ornate golden walls with like hieroglyphs, and then there's gonna be like a sarcophagus where a mummy was, but literally none of those things are in there. None of those things. The inner walls in the Great Pyramids are not decorated. There is no mummy, there is no sarcophagus, they're fucking empty rooms. And as a matter of fact, the inside of the pyramids, if you look at like a three-dimensional image of what the inside looks like, it looks like the inside of a machine. It doesn't look like anything you built to live in or be buried in. There's nothing inside the pyramid that remotely means in any way that it was built for burial. Like nothing. They have what they call a sarcophagus in the king's chambers, but it's literally a shittily made box that they admit was unfinished and potentially broke, but they never fixed it. And it just seems like if they built that entire fucking pyramid, they could probably manage a goddamn square box. But who am I, right? Anyways, so like the official theory is that maybe that they built it to bury the king, but then they fucked up the box at the end, and so put him somewhere else. Which is fucking crazy. Hi, are you enjoying my video? Is this entertaining to you? If so, would you mind pushing the like button? Do you want to see more of my videos? Hit the subscribe button. You can also hit the bell to get notifications for when I publish new videos. And you could also leave a comment and let me know what you think. That's all I had to say. Back to the program. Thanks, bye. So here's an interesting thought to consider. Maybe, just maybe the ancient Egyptians found the pyramid, the Great Pyramid. Maybe they found the Sphinx. And maybe they were like, oh shit, God's built this. This is crazy. We want to also be likened to the gods. And they started building their own pyramids. Now, if you look at the other pyramids in the area, they're not the same. They're not built like that. They are step pyramids. They have smaller stones. They have ornate walls and mummies inside and hieroglyphics that explain who is in there and its purpose, etc., etc., etc. It's different. It looks like, without somebody telling you, which is the problem. Everyone tells you what to think. They tell you this is facts. You go, okay, I guess that's the facts. But without somebody telling you, you're to look at one, you're to look at the other, you're to be like, these are two different things. They're just two different things. They're similar in that they are pyramidal in shape, but I think one is trying to just copy the other. So then the next question is, okay, well then who did build them? There are a growing number of scientists who are bringing forth an older human timeline. The idea is that we are not at the most evolved that we have ever been. That human beings have been more evolved than they are now. That there was a cataclysmic event, probably a meteor, probably in the North Pole, that caused a global calamity. First, a great flood, followed by an ice age, and that most of mankind was wiped out. And when we finally emerged after everything was done, everything had shifted, you know? That's why we have all these underwater ruins. You have any fucking idea how many ancient, amazing cities and ruins exist underwater? And we don't know who the fuck they belong to or how long they've been down there. The sea level would have to have been in a different place completely in order for those places to have been built, and probably for a really long time for them to have confidently built them. But we don't talk about that, do we? There are megalithic sites all around the world that we either can't accurately date or have been able to prove are much older than they are. However, mainstream science is not willing to accept that, because if we were to accept that human civilization is much older than we thought it was, and that we are not the best we've ever been, it changes everything. The theory is that actually the Great Pyramids, that the Great Pyramid is actually like a power plant of renewable green energy, wireless electricity. And you might be thinking to yourself, that sounds fucking ridiculous, Stormy. But we have in modern times already come across this same idea. Now, remember, the idea is essentially that maybe we were once more advanced than we are now. And maybe we evolved differently before. Maybe we didn't use fossil fuels. Maybe they evolved a spiritual ideology unlike the one we see today, which is, I don't know, maybe centered around psychedelics and sacred plant medicine, of which there is quite a bit of proof, but that's another video for another day. And if that's the case, then if we can figure out how the pyramids were built today, then an advanced society before could have easily done it. And in comes Nikola Tesla. So if you're not familiar, Nikola Tesla, he's really the person who should be getting most of the credit for electricity. Thomas Edison, so most people believe that Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. This is bullshit. It's not true. It's not. What happened was Thomas Edison was an excellent businessman, excellent marketer, and a fucking savage. He bought a light bulb patent from another guy from Canada and his partner. Forget their names. I'll find out. I'll put it on the screen. And then he hired 50 dudes to make the light bulb better. And then they did, and then he put his name on it, and ta-da, Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. He fucking didn't, but sure, he did. He also then needed to figure out how to get the light bulb into people's houses, okay? So how do you get electricity into people's houses? They were all using candlelight back then. So he invented what was called DC, direct current. But problem was, it can only go about a half a mile, like a power plant that creates electricity via Thomas Edison's design, or the design of his staff, basically. So Nikola Tesla was a fucking brilliant scientist, well ahead of his time from Croatia. He comes over, he gets a job with Thomas Edison, and he says, we're gonna use AC, alternating current. And Thomas Edison was like, you're crazy, that's ridiculous. And he was like, fuck you, Thomas Edison, you're wrong. And began this whole adventure of bringing AC, alternating current, which by the way is everything that we're using today. Everything that we use today runs on AC. It's Nikola Tesla, not Thomas Edison, that got us that. Now, why am I bringing up Nikola Tesla when I'm talking about Great Pyramids? Well, Nikola Tesla also wanted to create wireless electricity. And he had the Tesla Tower. And he couldn't get enough funding to finish the project because the problem was wireless electricity can't be built. We cannot charge people. JP Morgan was not gonna have it. It was a business model. It was the industrial era. And so Nikola Tesla wanted to give free energy to everyone, but no one would fund him because they can't get their money back because you can't charge for wireless electricity. But the Tesla Tower technology is mirrored to the Great Pyramids. Now, I don't feel like I can, with any good conviction or thorough understanding, explain to you the specific science of why that is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna direct you. I will put links in the description box of the best videos I can find on YouTube that exemplify this theory. However, what I will actually recommend, if you really wanna know, and I recommend everybody does, is to go on Netflix and look up The Pyramid Code. That's a docu-series by Discovery or BBC or History Channel, something like that. Episode 2 is called High Level Technology, and it goes through this theory. And I would highly recommend you just hop on Netflix and watch it. It's amazing. In short, the theory that the pyramids were built by an unintelligent, wheelless, no tool having civilization for the purpose of a burial chamber with absolute precision. Here's some more information. This is also accepted in the official story. When you see the pyramid now, all you see is rough stones, but that's because it's old as fuck. What it originally looked like, and parts of it still exist, is there are outside casing stones that are cut with such precision you cannot fit a razor blade between them. They are perfectly flat. And back in the day when it was actually finished, the outside of the pyramid was perfectly smooth, perfectly flat, white, reflective with a gold top. So the casing stone on top, if you look at the pyramid, it's missing the top part of the pyramid, the cap. And it was a metal alloy believed to be either gold or a gold mixture. So it would, in theory, back in the day, it would glow, be white, reflect light, and have a gold top. And you want me to believe that that magical precision came without wheels and only with stones and copper chisels? Because I'm not fucking buying it. There's a growing amount of evidence to say that human civilization is far, 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 far older than we think it is. And that actually we've gone through cataclysmic global catastrophes which have destroyed us almost entirely, ripped us apart, and only a small number of people have managed to carry the ancient knowledge and information down through, and that's where you end up with secret societies and Knights of Templar, etc., etc., etc. It's this small group of people who were hoarding the knowledge of our ancient history and what they knew and what they understood. That's a different video. All right, so go watch videos of people who sound smarter than I sound, saying things I don't know how to say well. And then if you enjoyed my video, hit the like button, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. There's links in the comments. You know, it's YouTube. You know what to do by now, right? I assume. That's all I have. Have a good day. Bye.